Buzz, did you have any angst last night, or did you, we were feeling pretty confident that y'all were in and had done everything you needed to do?
I kind of quit paying attention to it over the last 3 weeks. Josh is probably the most educated on our staff. He's very involved in our non-conference scheduling. A lot of that stuff that HDI does for us over the last 2.5 years has been helpful. Coach Lair has done it since we've been here. So they keep me abreast, but over the last 3 weeks, I hadn't asked any questions. I felt like it was just kind of taking me away emotionally from maybe what I could do better in regards to helping the team. So I don't know if angst would be the right word, but similar to what Mo was just saying, it was a very raw emotion last night. That was my 10th selection show as a head coach. And not that I don't remember the first 9, but that was more real, more emotional, more raw than the previous 9.
Feel like that non-conference schedule and everything really paid off. And
Well, Josh kind of knows how my brain works, so he feeds me information that he knows that I can absorb. I understand that the 5-1 record in March helped. I understand the 5-game losing streak in February was catastrophic. But if you look at the body of work, I do think that the non-conference scheduling has obviously become paramount in what the selection committee uses. I think our success, while not in College Station, whether that was conference or non-conference, was also helpful. And one other thing that I didn't realize, and I'm sure you guys did, so it's four quad 3 losses, and 3 of the 4 happened here. So I understand the value of the non-conference schedule. I understand the value of winning somewhere other than home. But the losses that hurt us the most were the ones that happened at home. And I believe 2 of those 4 losses, we beat that same team on the road. So I don't know that statistically, I know this hasn't been going on for a long time, but I would say that statement is pretty rare thus far through 3 years of doing it.
Was the reaction video that we all got to see of the players, the team, it seemed like there was just a jubilation. Some guys were crying, I think. You lifted your hands up. Is that because of the surprise of the seed you guys got, or just maybe if there was any pessimism about how the committee might treat you guys after the last couple of years, or what would you say that reaction?
Probably a little bit of all of that, in truth. I'm not being negative at all, but I don't know that our guys understand seeding, the S curve. Like, they understand quad 1, quad 2. They understand it's a road game. They know that. And probably because of how we talk to them, we probably educate them too much on some of that stuff. I think when it went to commercial break after the East region, there was a wound that appeared. And truthfully, I felt it too. And then because I've stayed away from it, and Josh has been with me 9 years, so he kind of knows like when to talk to me and when to walk the other way. He sent me some information Sunday morning on my walk, so I was a little more clued in than I had been. Like the things I've been answering to you guys, I had no idea. Stayed away from my phone, and And my wife happened to be to my left there after our name came up, and it was a release, maybe. It was a release of all of the things that you said. And I also think that they wouldn't say this, but they have for sure felt it and lived it. We've been playing in the NCAA tournament the last month. They wouldn't articulate it like that. But then for that realization to come to fruition in front of just us, the only people that were in there were us and the families. And it was, I think everyone felt comfortable that it was just us. And it just became, I haven't seen the clip you're talking about, but I won't forget it. A lot of gratefulness, a lot of joy, a lot of, when you do something really, really hard and you don't know if it's enough. And similar to one of the questions back there, it's like Oprah, like everybody wants to be validated, And I think it's such a delicate balance when you're 20 years old in this marketplace of NIL and portal and agents, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And you can become consumed with the applause of the crowd and become distracted by what is it that I'm supposed to do. And we're really thankful and excited. But I also mean this genuinely. The lessons that they have learned, the difficulty is what made it so. You saw their hearts spill out, and everybody processes emotion differently. And they're talking about Eli. Eli doesn't play. He doesn't play. And he's sitting on my stool the last 8 media timeouts in Nashville. He's been here the least amount of time. And the guys that have been here the whole time, H was the first kid that committed to us, and H is playing. H started however many games in non-conference, and now H is trying to get double-digit minutes. But the care and the love and the connection, when they saw it, I don't think they were processing, it's 9. I don't think they were processing, is it going to be Houston? Boots didn't play against Houston. It wasn't in real time. That's not what's going on. They're not, is it Friday? Is it Memphis? What are the other choices? They don't know all of that. But they knew when we went to Nashville, we weren't in the tournament. And they knew 2 years ago we played in the championship game and didn't go to the tournament. And we watched the selection show with Greg Gumbel in Tampa, and nobody's name was called. And so when it goes to commercial break, nobody's talking because nobody knows what to say. And then when we see it, in truth, we still don't know what to say. And I'll never forget it.
Must have been good for the heart that it came up early. You didn't have to wait for it.
Yeah, I don't know if my heart can take any more of any of this.
As you said, feel like you've been playing the NCAA tournament for the last month. Does that steel you, do you think, for or put you in I guess I'm trying to say, does that give you any kind of
Well, we for sure have reps of the pressure. You could do some research. I don't. All of the questions you guys are asking, 6 and 9 to a 9 seed, you'd have to do some historical research. I don't know how many times that's happened. Normally 6 and 9 leads to 6 and 12 in an 18-game schedule, particularly when 2 of the last 3 are on the road. There's only been 1 home game since we've been 6 and 9. Only 1. And that was senior day, which only adds to the emotional level of it all. Yeah, I think they're real good. And I think the coach is even better. And yeah, like to me, that is historical. Okay, we're 6 and 9 to a 9 seed. And how many games you play? Well, only one of them was at home. Well, what happened before you were 6 and 9? Oh, we lost 5 games in a row. Oh, so you're saying you were 6 and 4? That's just that's a long journey of emotion, of film, of practice, of what's at stake, of let's study the numbers. Like the last time I took the kids to, what's the place called, Josh?
Big Shots.
Yeah, the last time we went over to Big Shots was prior to us playing Arkansas at home. And that was the last time I explained to our guys where we were at. 21 days left in the season, 6 games left, 3 at home, 3 on the road, weekday games at home, weekend games on the road. Here's the net. Hey guys, look at our effective field goal percentage. 343rd. Now look at our offense. It's ranked 30. So we cannot make a shot, but yet our offense is ranked 30th in the country. How is that? How do those numbers line up? That says we're doing everything that we can control. And so we went through this whole deal. And that was the last time I gave them any information on anything relative to the tournament. And so I do think that there is a little bit of freedom that has come from being liberated from paying attention to all of it. We obviously know that we're in. And so I do think that these reps over the last few weeks, to your question, they don't hurt, and hopefully they'll help us.
So was it kind of a, you took them out to Big Shots to give that information, but a team building exercise, or to get them to relax, or what?
For a change of pace, because that would have been that was 2 days before, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so 2 days before we normally do, they know the itinerary. 1 day before, they know the itinerary in regards to not just the itinerary, but like what we're going to cover. And so that was on a Sunday. And so that means we must have played Saturday on the road. So whoever we played on Saturday, we must have lost.
Alabama, I think.
Yeah, so that week, we played the fastest team in the country and got double skulled. And earlier that week, we played the slowest team in the country and lost at the buzzer. On Sunday, it's 2 days before. That must have meant we were playing Arkansas on a Tuesday. And so I don't know if entertainment is the right word, but hey, guys, I'll meet you at Big Shots. That's going to be 2 days. And we went in that same room we were in last night, and that was the last time all of the information that you know, I showed it to our kids. And obviously it didn't work. We lost by 7. So.
What was your reaction when you saw Nebraska, and what do you know about them?
Nothing. I know they play in the Big Ten. I know Coach Hoiberg had every job in basketball, player, all-league player, the mayor, an NBA player, an NBA executive, NBA coach, college coach. I'm somewhat familiar with what his style was when he was the coach at Iowa State, because that's when I was at Marquette. But in regards to Nebraska, I don't know.
Having had such a long-standing relationship with Boots, how nice is it to see him get to play in the tournament?
He couldn't even talk. He couldn't even talk. And, his dad and stepmom, they're literally standing at the elevator prior to every game in Nashville, waiting on me to come down with my family to give me a hug and say, I love you. Oh. They're such good people. And that not one time, not one instance, not one question ever when we have lived in Texas or when we have lived in Virginia about style of play, about minutes, about shots, about NIL, about literally never even broached the subject. And the dad is giving me a real hug. The stepmom is giving me a real hug. And the last time we were here for the last home game, that was Boots' mom that walked out. That wasn't his stepmom. That was Boots' mom and dad. And I don't know if you saw the first picture, but it was dad, mom, Boots, me, in that order. I go, hey, Boots, you better get in the middle. Craig's taking the picture. And only because I have experience, because my parents were divorced when I was a little baby. Boots, get in the middle. And he couldn't hear me. He said, what'd you say, Coach? I said, you better get in the middle. So he goes, Craig, we need to take another one. So then the mom came over there next to me. It's that level of relationship, that level of story will not happen in my career again. And for the kids know it because the last time I snapped on them was 2 days before the Mississippi State game. And I said, hey, guys, I'm going to turn your water off if we don't win on Wednesday. And I've never told a player that. I said, I'm going to turn every one of y'all's water off if we don't win. Wildens is important. Eli's important. And I don't love them any less than I love Boots. But we're going to win for Boots. And if we don't, I'm turning all y'all's water off. They were saying in the locker room after the game, as soon as I walked in there, Coach, we got our water on. Yes, keep your water on.
Is there a finite reason or reasons you can point to that you are playing your best basketball now?
I think I haven't looked at all of the numbers, Owen, since Nashville. I've looked at a lot of them. A few things. I know turkeys are not a real stat, but they're a real stat to us. In the last 6 games, we've averaged our highest number of turkeys in any 6 games. The Florida game will screw it up some, I'm afraid, because we were fouling at the end on purpose. But in any 6-game stretch, it's the lowest free throw rate for the opponent with the highest free throw rate for us. And then we've done a magnificent job on the glass. And, we have had in our tenure here really, really, really poor defensive rebounding rankings, percentages, etc. But that's our most improved stat of the season. And if you look at this stretch, I think all of those things are intertwined. And obviously, we've played a lot better offensively We've shot it from three better than any other stretch. We've shot it from the field better than any stretch. We've shot it from the free throw line better than any stretch. But I think some of it is we have been able to get stops with defensive rebounds that allow us in the first 6 to 8 seconds of the possession to play a little faster. Play a little faster could lead to a quicker track to the bonus. And I also think that it allows us to possibly never allow the defense to get set. And we're shooting more buzz shots, which is, that just means that's a shot that I could shoot. Hey, I'm going to throw it to you. Buzz, can you shoot that shot? And so I think all of it's intertwined. But if you rewind to South Carolina here and only had Brad print out the box score from that game through now, so I guess that would be 7 games, wouldn't it? Yes. It's not all of what I said would come out from the box score, but the whiteboard stats and the things that our players track, that they know that we track, those would be the things that I think have kind of, they're all intertwined.
Similar to Owen's question,
Where's Travis?
Travis is, I think he's driving back from Dallas right now. He got home at like midnight last night.
So he stayed at Tootsie's for a couple extra days.
Yeah.
Good for Travis.
Good for Travis.
Make sure when he turns in his receipts that's handled accordingly.
Will do. You know, throughout the stretch you guys have had in March, you know, you're able to kind of save your season and get into the tournament. What do you hope your guys can take from that chunk of time as you guys look ahead to try and make another run here in the tournament?
Well, we were 2-1 in the first tournament this year. We were 2-1 this past week in the tournament. So we have some tournament experience. I think there's 4 guys on our team that are 7-3 in the SEC tournament in their career here, which is pretty impressive. The elephant in the room, though, is those guys with Buzz as their coach is 0-1 in this tournament. And so it may be an elephant in this room, but it's not an elephant in our room. They know. And like so many other things in life, good judgment can only come from experience, and experience can only come from bad judgment. And so that's literally been the last 6 weeks of our season, and that's where wisdom comes from. I think not Eli, not Wildens, not Jace. They are emotionally, their level of emotion was based on they've never played in the tournament while living through what we just lived through to get there. But some of these other guys, they were in Des Moines last year, playing the last game on Thursday night. Like they know. Now, this time last year, they were excited. It was the normal scan the crowd and everybody's just clapping, okay, let's play. They don't really know. They know now. And so I hope that some of that comes to life. And similar to what Mo was saying, regardless of seed, the best thing that happened for us maybe is that we're playing on Friday. Because it's not just the physical endurance that has taken place. It's the emotional endurance. It's the mental endurance. And for our guys to be off yesterday and all they saw was thank you And then for us to be off today, physically, mentally, and emotionally, if I had to coach today, I couldn't. Like, my voice is gone. And so that we're playing on Friday is good. And hopefully all of these things that I just mentioned, that wisdom, the good judgment, the experiences, the bad judgment, hopefully that can catapult us so that we can be better.
Real quick, who impressed you the most at Big Shots?
Well, yesterday, I don't know if you guys have ever met Big Fred. Big Fred is a friend of mine and has lived wherever I have lived the last 10 plus years. And I stayed inside with him. So I wasn't able to watch any swings yesterday, but I can give you, Jay Lee is the best athlete in our program. Not close. Pick a sport. He could play any sport at Texas A&M, and I'm telling you, that is not an exaggeration. He's the best athlete. Henry loves golf, and so you can tell he's played. You can tell H spent a lot of time in middle school. They had a middle school golf team at Nederland, I guess. And then there's some pretty bad ones too. Solo needs to buy club insurance because he'll break them. He's really bad. Coach Lair is the best golfer on staff. That would be my HDI analytics on our golf games.
Hey, Buzz, y'all have wins over two seeds. Y'all beaten a 3 seed. Y'all were right there with a.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
You're right there with a 1 seed. Y'all played. You're right there against a team that was the Final Four team last year.
Huh.
Are you able to glean any kind of encouragement?
Yeah, I haven't. Josh sent me some stuff last night that I haven't printed out yet. He said that we finished with 7 quad 1 wins, and Mississippi State was 1 notch away from being the 8th. Is that right? And that of the 7, 3 of them were quad 1A wins. So some of what you just said must be in that mix. I haven't thought about that. I will say that similar to some of this other stuff we've been talking about, regardless of name of opponent, we're not going to say something to our guys to ask them to do something different than what they've had to do multiple times already this year, relative to talent, relative to style of play, relative to league. Like, what did our non-conference strength of schedule end up ranking, Josh?
21st.
So, I mean, it's 370 Division I teams, and we were 21st. I mean, that helps. And then I don't know where the SEC's at, but I know 8 teams are in. So we've had multiple reps of playing real players and real coaches and real teams. And so I think that's helpful too.
Hey, Buzz, 4 of the last 5 games, you guys have shot 38% or better from 3. Maybe it's as simple as Taylor catching fire in some of those games, but what do you think the reason?
Well, I think 4 was outstanding. Brad said he scored the 2nd most points of all time in the history of the SEC tournament, other than Allen Houston. Now, Allen Houston's probably about my age, but I know he was a really good player. And I do think that there is, 4 has that, the bigger the game, the bigger the moment, the more comfortable he is, the more at peace he is. So, you know, like we scored 1.2 points per possession against Florida. 90 points should be enough to win a game in college. Because for the most part, without ever saying it, we've played a lot of games trying to get to 65. So to get to 90 games back to back and not almost scored 90 between the two. So I do think some of it's I think some of it is the foul rate. When we're able to collect as many points as we have we've made more than the opponent has attempted. That's one of the metrics I used to use before HDI started when I was coaching at New Orleans. Like, that's what you want to do. That's old school coaches. Make more than they shoot. Shoot more balls. And there's been somebody else each game. Like Andy goes 4 or 5 in game 1 or 2 down there. Well, Andy hadn't scored 9 points in 3 games. You know what I mean? And so we're shooting the ball better than we ever have from the field. We're shooting the ball better than we ever have from 3, including when we got beat by Florida. We shot 38%, like you said. Like, okay, well, for the season, we shot 25%. So 38% is like, wow. And so the one thing I kept saying in the Florida game to our guys, we're scoring more than we've ever scored. We don't need to score any more points. We need to quit letting them score points. This is not an offensive problem. But we have become so accustomed to offensive problems, when it becomes a rock fight and a tractor pull, that wasn't what was going on. We scored 50 points in the first half. We scored 40 in the second half. No, they're scoring too many. And I think it's a culmination of a lot of things. Getting stops, allowing us to play, tilting the floor downhill a little bit, having the vibe of let's score in the first 6 seconds versus no, let's reset. We had 3 unpredictable shots in the first, what we would define as unpredictable shots in the first half against Ole Miss. And I told the kids at halftime, I'm like, guys, we can't absorb 3 now. 4 gets 1 a game. Our team gets 1 a game. Okay, so we get 2. 4 gets 1. The rest of y'all get total of 1. Y'all know that. We've been talking about that for 6 weeks. We just took 3. But there has been a little bit of, can you believe we're scoring? Let me shoot 1. Let me confirm this is real. But we can't lose our identity on what our recipe is. And so I think it's been a culmination of a lot of different things.
Not many schools can say both their men and women are going to
Yeah, how many?
I don't know the exact number.
Somebody knows. Brad, you know.
I don't know the number, I'm sorry.
Brad, what are you doing? I would say it's 20.
Probably around that. I saw a graphic of it. It didn't look like a lot.
Yeah, what a remarkable job. I think Schloss has to have the advantage because of his long tenure of excellence. But I've said this from the beginning with Coach Joni. She represents everything that's right, in my opinion. And my wife was #1 player in the state of Texas, won a state championship, played in college like she knows. And she was coached by one of the best coaches ever in the state of Texas. And so we always, in our relationship over the last 25 years, have talked about, she has her own processes and thoughts on coaching because she was a player. And if you talk to her long enough, she's coaching this team too. But Joni is the perfect combination of what I believe a head coach is supposed to be on and off the floor, within your institution, within your community, and within this industry. And you can't argue with what Coach Blair did here. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. But to take over for a Hall of Famer, I do not recommend that, right? I don't think you take a job following the guy. Do it the next time. So I think that that's very difficult. But for her to be plus 10 in improvement in one calendar year in this league, I think that's only the beginning of the type of success she's going to have, because it's just who she is. So
22. 22 teams.
I figured it'd be in the 20. Yeah, 22. That's remarkable. Good for Texas A&M. Good.
All right.
Thank you, guys.